What I'm doing now is I'm opening up a Webull paper trade account. Now, I also trade on Webull as well. I think I have a few choices on here. But what I'm going to do is open up a whole new, I guess, different category of choices on Webull under a paper trade account. In paper trade, just in case you don't know what that means, is fake money. It's basically Webull saying, hey, we're going to act like you got $1 million or, well, $100,000 here, and we're going to see, how well you can do with $100,000. And I know it sounds a little weird, but believe it or not, that's how a lot of very wealthy people obtain their wealth if they, didn't just obtain it all through inheritance or maybe some lucky way like lottery or, settlement or something other than going out and spinning their wheels to actually, acquire such a large growth of money. Usually what happens is maybe the for mom, for dad, they feel it's their responsibility to start the kid off with 100,000 or maybe $1 million, kind of like how Donald Trump's story is. And then it's that kid's responsibility to show the family what it can do with that 1 million or 100,000, because that kid may also be responsible for big decisions with inside the family to make much bigger decisions with much bigger money for the whole sake of the family. Most wealthy people don't worry about, I guess, busting their butt for money. They worry about keeping their money and growing their money. Hence, which is the reason why they get into investment and buying appreciating items like stocks and anything else that appreciates. But here we go. It's $100,000 here. We're making pretend my Kabbalistic mom or Kabbalistic dad hit me off on my whatever it's called, but hit me off with $100,000, and they wanted to see what I can do with it. So here it is, y'all. A series. Starting with the $100,000 paper trading. Like I said, my first choice is Sentinel One. Second choice is a company called Canon. Third choice is a company called Symbiotic. And as I go along here, I'll try to think of some other companies that I like to put on my top 10 list, spreading that $100,000 out to about $10,000 multiplied by 10 different assets. All right, here we go. We're already in Webull. As you can see, I already got $100,000 that they've given me as buying power on my paper trade account. So I'm going to go ahead and trade. And my first company, like I said, Sentinel One. So, boom. I'm going to put up 10,000 for them. So, let's see. I'll go ahead and do a good till cancel and an extended hour trade just to make sure it's not just trading during, stock trading hours, but also trading during the extended hours. And I said I'm going to spend about $10,000 on them, so I'm going to get, let's see here. Yeah, it's about 10,696. Take it down to about 750. See what that is. Yep, that's more closer to 10,000. Okay, so I have about 750 shares of Sentinel One now, paper trade wise, of course. And put that order in. It should clear soon. Maybe even over the weekend. Maybe Monday. Maybe earlier Monday. Second choice was Canon. I think that's how you spell them. Yeah, Canon. I say Canon like the camera company. Big reason why I'm choosing this asset is because, as you can see, it's down 34%. Wow. And it's a $2 share. Wow. And it's a company that I got a little confidence in. So I'm not going to go into detail doing a... one second. I'm not going to go into detail doing any type of deep analysis on the company. I'll leave you to do that, so that way you can feel like you've made your own educated decision on choosing a company before putting your money into it. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just showing you how I would do my paper trade account. I've never been to school for financing. I majored in business marketing. So here we go. Good till cancel. Let's see here. I said about 10,000. Okay, and let's see. Get to cancel extended hours by. Let's see. I didn't want to put like that. Okay, paper trade. Let's see. I almost bought them for real. Keep spelling it wrong. Here we go. Paper trade. Bam. So. And let's see. Go to cancel. I'll take it out. 49.50. 100. 49.25. Just keep it close. Alright, that's about as. I'll do go ahead and do 35. Yep, right there. 30. Right there. Okay. Here we go. So I got 4,930 shares of Canon, whatever the hell you call them. Now, I said the third one was going to be Symbiotic, which is another company I have a lot of confidence in. Symbiotic. And as we go along, I'll add a few more. So before I go ahead and add them all now, I'm going to add a few more as we go along, because I think I have some better choices. But Symbiotic was one of the companies I said that I have a very high interest in. I did kind of analyze their stock price, and I wish I could have got it a little lower. But just assuming that I'm getting it at the strike price that where it's at right now, we'll go ahead and see what happens. All right. So let's see. Yep, they're doing it again. Paper trade, paper trade. Let's see, Symbiotic. I said Canon, Symbiotic. Okay. Okay, here we go. Paper trade. I forgot the amount I said earlier. Or had earlier. Just do 32. 315. 3, 5. All right, 300. Oop, let's say 275. Okay, 280. I'll go ahead and do 290. Man, I'm still not there. 299. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's about as close to 10,000 as I'm going to get. So I got 295 shares of Symbiotic. So just remember, those are the three: Symbiotic, Canon, and then the third one is Sentinel. Right? As you can see, Symbiotic doing not so bad. They're up 142%. Like I said a little earlier, I wish I would have gotten them a lot lower. I'm already invested in all three of these companies with my own money on another portfolio, within another portfolio in the stash. But I just wanted to come in here and make a few choices that I've, decided on my stash account. I wanted to come in here and actually open up a paid paper trading account on Webull and, use that as a second way to, I guess, analyze or, trace or investigate these assets for the future and seeing how well they do, track them over over time. So, and also what, the assumption that, hey, I got this $100,000 and my family's anxious to see what I'm going to do with it. Because later on, I may have to manage billions of dollars or millions of dollars for my family to not just not lose our wealth, but to grow our wealth. And that's what wealthy people do. Their responsibility is to secure and grow. They don't have to spin wheels and work 40 hours a week. So we'll see what happens with this make pretend wealthy $100,000 that I just inherited. Maybe I got it from my belle Misqua or whatever you call it. But anyway, so we'll see, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm back. This is the part where I actually throw in a little twist. What I decided to do when choosing these paper trading stocks over there at Webull is I decided to pick most of my 10 pick selection off of my loser list, y'all. This is my loser list. So here we go, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out the ETFs because I got about maybe 15, 20 ETFs. I'm going to take them out. Okay. And I'm going to list from return percentage from lowest to highest, which is my loser list. All right. And like I said, I have over, as you can see here, I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. I have over 100, about 100 assets in here. And as you can see, I'm not losing on many. It looked a lot better than it did, let's say, a year ago today. So these are all my holdings. But as far as losing holdings, as you can see here, I'm starting here at double down. So as far as my losers, I got a loser starting at 2%. And then Beam 3%, Lithium 4%, 5%, 5%, 6%, 7%, so on. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I have 12 losers. So I have to pick 10 out of 12 losers. I don't know if I can do that. All right, I'll pick most of my 10 out of these 12 losers. As far as the first 3 that I chose, 2 were off my loser list, and 1, like I said, was very overpriced, but I chose it anyway because I still think it has a lot of upside potential, and that is the Symbiotic stock. But here are the other 2 stocks that I picked, and as you can see, they're my number 1 and number 2 losers, which means that there's no other stocks in my entire 100 stock portfolio that is losing more than these stocks. But I just picked them on my paper trading portfolio, which actually shows the conviction that I actually have on these 2 companies. It must be a lot if one company, look, dropped 35% in one day. That's in one day. This stock literally went from $20+ wherever, $21 all the way down to $13. I mean, that only shows a 35% drop, but I believe it dropped again the day before, like $20 there, and then drops down to $13. Right there, $21, then down to $20, and then down, boom, straight down 35% one day. So this thing's then dropped more than 50% in the matter of 48 hours. And I actually chose the number 1 on my paper trade list. But here we go. And then Canon, they did pretty good yesterday, but as you can see right there, they dropped down tremendously, down to $2.01 when they were at, let's say, $2.75, somewhere around there, $2.50. So, and that's just in one day. But I actually just chose them on my paper trading list, which actually shows again my conviction on them. But my third choice out of the list, I haven't bought it yet, but to put on the paper trade list, but I'm actually invested in it. Not much, as you can see. I had to start them over it. As you can see, I had them way up, and then I just took them way down. You know, like I think I had them up to $100 at one point, and you know, I just eventually took them down. I've been striking these people since March of 22. You know, $20 here, $10 here, you know, but I dropped them down to the $5 because they were doing so bad at one point that I had no other choice to take profits and drop them really low because I know they would drop a lot lower, and then I would ride them back up. But that probably would be my 4th choice. This probably would be my 5th choice. And Yeah, they're doing pretty bad too. But probably my fifth choice. Um, Xfinity sixth choice for sure. Sixth choice. I ain't got many more to choose from. Let's see. Just as a seventh choice, really don't even know if I would choose it. But it'd be a fight between Asana Biotechnology and Omega Therapeutics. So I'll just call them both my seventh and eighth choice. And then maybe ADMA ninth choice, even though they're just turning profits. Now, all these are new picks too. Not all of them, but a lot of them are new picks. And then if I had one last choice, I can't go over 10%, 5%, or whatever. Let's see. Let's see. It would probably be last choice, either SciTech or Intelia. One of the two. Probably SciTech, just because SciTech share price is a lot lower and the opportunity is much greater. And that's what this new paper portfolio is all about. It's all about growth, which is the reason why I'm gambling on such such low market cap companies. SciTech is a little overpriced, I think, but I still would probably choose them. Worst case scenario, if it wouldn't be SciTech, I'd fall back down to Caribou, which is a little bit more reasonably priced, even though they're still overpriced as well. But yeah, probably those 10, just so y'all know. And just so you know again, out of almost 100 assets, I have 12 losers that I have to choose from. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And most of these are losers that, I'm working on, that I'm actually trying to ride it as low as I possibly can to catch my strike point as low as possible. That way, once I get to a certain mark, let's say $100, for example, I just stop. And then I, try to ride the wave. And like I said, I got an unorthodox style of trading, which means I'm very rarely pulling profits. It really bothers me to pull profits. I know it's impossible to time the market, but at the same time, my objective is, to, even if you see here, I'm at 249%. I mean, I've never seen nobody sitting at 249% on anything. I watched a lot of, videos, a lot of YouTube speakers and all kinds of stuff in this last 3 years, learning so much about this industry and, other things that surround the industry and things that affect the industry, whether it be legislative change, SEC rulings and things like that, how they affect, this industry. So, and it's kind of amazing, but like I said, I have an unorthodox style of trading. You know, these were, for example, were more than $92, and when I did take profit, it's only because I was so scared that I would lose. I thought it, if you look here, you see it just jumped up. It just went literally from $3.20 to literally in one day all the way up to $8. So it more than 100% in one day. And usually when a stock does that, it usually comes right back down hard, the same way it went up. And which is the reason why I only took like maybe $10 profit off of it all, because I was more than $100 there, which is my ride the wave point. But it's still holding steady. If you look here, it's been holding steady ever since like mid-May. Even though it just flew up like that. So, but it's a good thing that I had already locked my price in at the $2.64, which is even before it flew up before April. I locked it in around March. And, even buying upwards and upwards while it was growing in March and all, I still managed to lock the total amount down to $2.64, which is really good. So, and what I mean by ride the wave is, I can keep striking this and get it close to that $9.24. But then in the future, when this stock is, let's say, $20, then if I would have left it at that average strike price of $2.64, then I'm at 1,000% already. But if I keep striking and keep striking and keep striking, and my average price goes all the way up to $9.24, then you don't need me to tell you that in the future I gotta wait till that stock gets to $90 so I can 10x it. And my objective is to keep that average price down as low as possible and ride the wave. Now if for some odd reason within the next 10 years this stock goes back down below that 264, then hopefully I would have been smart enough to take some profits. And then at the same time, when it gets down close to that 264 or anything, even $5 or $4.50, then I would try to go to my next level, which is maybe build it up to the $200 and to get maybe a higher strike price, but the strike price would still be less than $4.50, and then maybe over the next 5 years, that $9.24 would be averaging, let's say around $20 or $30, which is which is what I'm expecting. So, and that's my mindset about why I have such an unorthodox trade style. You know, I don't even think we're in a bull run, but at the same time, I managed to get 249% on the upside on one of my, assets, and that's simply because, I just stopped striking it so long ago. I never struck it again so long ago. The last time I invested in this company was what? You see, I took profits, but I haven't invested in it since back in May, and when I did, it was only $2. So that I don't fuck my cost base prices up. I crept it in $3 here, crept it in again while it was still kind of low, back early part of May. I invested $5 back in April, crept it in while it was still low, all to get it up to the 100. But other than that, I stopped riding the wave pretty much, as you can see here, in mid-May. And from that mid-May up until, let's say, June, this damn thing that went up like 200%. And 300%. As you can see, I'm working on 249% myself. So, I mean, I pretty much got it all, I couldn't have gotten no more unless I would have struck it around, and been finished around March, to catch that 2003. But, so there was times that I paid $3.32 for it, and then it drops back down. So, I actually did very good on my strike price on here, which is the reason why this is my number one asset. And the reason why it's literally doubled the next one closest to it, which is NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is a slow-moving company. Once they gain their profit, once they gain their growth in the market, they very, very rarely lose it. So for the last thing I would want to do is strike these guys at 100% upside. I would screw my whole average price up. And what I'm trying to do is get the absolute lowest average price, and then, like I said, ride this wave. So let's say my strike price was around here. I actually rode this wave, as you can see, 185 from, let's say, January, which is my birthday of this year. I rode this wave from January up until now, and it's equated to 111%. And if I did strike it after January, it was very low strike points, maybe to creep into money after I maybe took profits. And as you can see here, it was at 100. I took some profits on it, obviously, and now my investment amount is down to 84. But at the same time, I still have a very low strike price, especially on something that could very well go to $1,000. And if it do, then I'll be damn near 10x in it. Yeah, I'll only 10x in the $85 or $100 or whatever, but it's still 10x. I can cash out on literally that $100 turn to $1,000. I'll literally leave $100 in there, cash out on the other 900, and go for some more new and innovative companies where I can duplicate the same thing to exponentially grow real fast. But everything that I invested in there would stay in there as long as that asset keeps a growing appreciation like NVIDIA would. As long as it does what it does, then even cashing that $900 out and leaving $100 in there, well, let's say cashing out $500 and leaving the other $500 in there, you don't need me to tell you my growth would be slower, but it would still be a very good growth from that point. And I would be up $400 because all I've ever invested in it was, 100, and I've cashed out on 400 of it, only 500 out of it. So, I would be up 400 with also another 500 still invested, along with the 100 that I originally invested. So it would be an opportunity gain of about $1,000, And out of that 1,000, I would probably take about 500 and try to find me 5 other plays that are new and upcoming, and literally do that, with not just NVIDIA, but each of the other assets on here. Once I see them start to top off, then I'll start taking profits on them, But I'm looking at, I'm looking at maybe one day looking at a plot and seeing 1,000% right there, and me literally either not touching it or have built it up just a teeny bit more, maybe to maybe $150 invested at the most, but at the same time at 1,000% profit, because again, I want to keep that cost base average as low as possible. I want to be the guy that says, hey, there's not many people out there that were able to catch that asset at its absolute lowest value and invest all that I was planning on or intending on investing in it, and riding its wave out to also sell at the most perfect time, to also just find another asset and literally leave in the amount of money that I originally invested in that previous asset that grew so much. Just leave that in there and literally take as close as I can to the 900, or 1,000 or whatever I can, to not affect the account, but also buy 10 new assets that I believe will do the same thing. And I'm talking about if this thing does this in 3 years, that's fine too. If it makes it to 1,000% in 3 years, then that means 3 years I'm with $1,000. My opportunity gain was $1,000, and with that opportunity gain, I was able to buy, let's say, 7, 8, 9 other plays, while also leaving $100 that I originally invested in there to ride it out if they do, capture more growth. That's my objective. My objective is a very unorthodox objective. Is strictly aim at growth. I'm not no well, as you can see here, these are only $100 days. So I have no much to lose in the law of exponentials and the exponential numbers game. In each of these assets, if I have 10 assets that go belly up and one asset that does that 1,000%, then you don't really need to tell you that one asset cover the other 10 assets. But if my decisions make processes, so let's say good that, let's say 60% of my assets, over time makes it to 1,000%, then that means I was one bad mamma jamma, and you could best believe I'm making a lot of money if I also sold at the right point. So the key is not just buying, but the key is also selling. In other words, I want to buy this at 264, and I want to be selling this thing at no lower than $20. And even when I do, I want to leave at least $200-300 back in there after taking that $800 out, and and literally let that ride the wave over time. But I've maximized. I've took out my $800, and I took out my gain from that $100 investment, and that's all I expect from that asset. Now it's time to use that asset growth to find other opportunities growth, and then whatever's left over in that asset, if it grows over the next 20 years to, let's say, $200 as your share price, then that's great. I'll take that $200 share price versus that $20 share price where I originally sold, and I'll be grateful that it's only at $500 or it's at $500, as opposed to the original $100 that I originally put in. So either way, play it right, you can't lose. That one asset can literally over time pay for all 100 assets. Just one asset does what I expect it to do. So here we go. That's it, y'all. You see the choices that I chose over my Webull. I had a chance to have a glance at my top assets and how my growth is going. When, like I said, if you go on YouTube right now, you'll see the narrative is no, pull your money out, and all the bad news. Don't invest. Don't do this. Da da da. But nobody's showing you the portfolio. And if they are talking to dealers, hate to trade portfolios. They're not dealing with their own money. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I've been putting my money where my mouth is ever since my mom passed in December 2020. I started this in January of 2021, and these are my choices. And based on all my investigations, homework, and everything I know about macroeconomics in the world, these are my choices, and as far as what I think the future is going to be. And it's my responsibility to find some of the best growth out of the future. It's my responsibility to look at, all the Silicon Valleys and see which one of them is going to grow the most and find the most opportunity and be able to predict tomorrow. That's my responsibility. And that's not even a prediction. That's just based off history. That's based off of truth, off of fact, off of intel. You can, I guess, assume, make inferences and assumptions and, I guess predictions, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You can do that off of history, because history repeats itself. If I sat in the window and I can see that there's this person that walks to the bus stop every morning to go to work, and I say to my friend inside the room who just doesn't have my vantage point, hey, I bet you $100 there's going to be a person walking around that corner with a red umbrella and blah, 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 coat, blah, 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 and they're going to look like this, and they're going to cut that corner in less than, let's say, 2 minutes. And you're like, well, how the hell would you know that? Well, I'm nice. I can predict. And, the person says, well, I bet you $100 you can't do it. And then I literally bet the person $100, and lo and behold, the person goes walk right around the corner. It's not that I predict it. It's just that I study that person's history. I'm sitting in the window every morning having my coffee and my blunt, and I can see this person cut the corner at the same time. So I can make the assumption that they're probably going to work and they have a time schedule to be at that bus stop, and they got to be there at a certain time. Why? Because the bus is going to be there at a certain time. So if I see it as close to that time and they haven't got there yet, and you just so happen to walk in the room, that's not me predicting, me saying that person's going to show up, when I know that person is definitely going to show up because they showed up 200 times in a row. That's not a prediction. That's just me studying history. So, and that's what my responsibility is. My responsibility is to have enough intel, enough knowing, enough knowledge, enough information, enough reconnaissance, or whatever you want to call it, about the temperature, about the state of our economy, the state of the world, enough to say, hey, I'm going to put my money here, my money there, and my money there to tell you what tomorrow's going to look like. And I'm 100% certain on it. And so I'm going to put it here more versus there, less. And putting it in front of the world to say, hey, as a small guy, this is what I am. We'll see how good I am in the future. Give me 5 years. We'll see how intelligent I am with the choices I've made. And that's it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I guess where my intel is and information. But remember, intel and information is not all it's cracked up to be. Clairvoyance, intuition, gift with timing, all those things are much more miraculous. Intel is just knowing about everything that is of matter, and matter is of sin. It's all about spirit. Anyway, never mind the amen. Love y'all.